You, that precise cold shudder when the mask slips not dramatically, but in a micro-expression you weren't supposed to catch. The retroactive humiliation as your mind replays every smile, every agreement, every promise, and rewrites them as calculated moves in a game you didn't know you were playing. Your intelligence was weaponized against you. You analyzed problems while they analyzed you. You trusted surfaces while they engineered them. You believed in sincerity in an economy that runs on strategic fiction. This is not paranoia, it is delayed recognition. The part of you that's been replaying the betrayal is your latent strategic processor demanding its manual. On one side of this screen, permanent vulnerability, being a character in stories written by others. On this side, acquiring predatory perception, the ability to scan the blueprint of intent in 3 seconds flat. Your arrival here is the counterstrike. Choose now. The world operates on a dark psychology of plausible deniability. Every interaction is a negotiation of advantage. Your question, is everyone lying to me, is obsolete. Assume strategic performance. Assume tactical omission. Your desire to see truth isn't cynicism. It's the foundation of your intellectual fortress. I will now install the Machiavellian Scan, a 6-part cognitive weapon that strips away performance and exposes strategic intent. You'll master the congruence check, the speed of agreement, the shadow leak, the boundary test, the eye of the prince, and the mirror effect. This is not body language, this is intent language. This is X-ray vision for the human psyche. You will never be blindsided again. If you are ready to see through every mask, hit subscribe. Drop "Scan me" in the comments. Let's begin. Disregard the manifesto. Audit the ledger. The foundational axiom of Machiavellian psychology is this: behavior is the only truth. Language is endlessly mutable, a fog of possible meanings. Action is concrete, expensive, and therefore revelatory. The gap between the two, the incongruence, is your most powerful diagnostic tool. It is the crack in the mask through which true character bleeds. Your subject proclaims loyalty, yet their attention consistently drifts toward those with higher status. They advocate for honesty, yet you observe them crafting convenient omissions. They claim to value your time, yet their requests systematically drain your most productive hours. This dissonance is not error. It is a broadcast of their actual operating system. The conscious mind can narrate. The pattern of behavior reveals the unconscious priority structure. Your tactical protocol: stop listening to their press releases, begin compiling their behavioral data, create a mental spreadsheet. Column A, verbally stated values, promises, and principles. Column B, observable, verifiable actions. The discrepancy between these columns is your intelligence metric. The wider the gap, the higher the strategic threat. A person of high congruence, even if their values are ruthless, is predictable. A person drowning in incongruence is a psychological IED. They are not merely lying to you, they are lying to themselves, and you exist within their field of fragmentation. This is your baseline scan. Once you've measured the gap, you must then analyze the velocity of their social mirroring. Genuine consensus requires processing time, evaluation, consideration, the friction of independent thought. Instant, effortless agreement is the behavioral signature of a strategic parasite. The fake friend, the manipulative partner, the insincere colleague. They mirror your positions not from shared conviction, but as a method of psychological bypass. Their goal is not alignment, it is access. When you express an opinion, a preference, or a plan, measure the response latency. The authentic response has cognitive texture. It may contain qualifying questions, requests for clarification, or respectful counterpoints. It treats your idea as an object to be examined. The manipulative agreement is reflexive and frictionless. It is a social mirror designed to administer a dopamine hit of validation, making you chemically dependent on their applause. They are constructing a debt of approval they will later call due with interest. The third sign is what betrayed Caesar, the ally whose agreement was always fastest, whose support was most theatrically proclaimed. Beware the person who never offers calibrated resistance. They are not your ally, they are your social engineer, and you are their project. Their rapid agreement is a data harvesting technique, mapping the contours of your ego to better simulate the persona you crave. This speed is a form of psychological phishing, but an even more potent data leak occurs in the territory they believe is demilitarized: humor. The unconscious mind speaks most freely when the conscious mind believes it is playing. The insult camouflaged in laughter is not a joke. It is a truth delivered under diplomatic immunity. This is the shadow leak, a direct transmission from the individual's repressed resentment, envy, or contempt, disguised as social play. You're so lucky they promoted you. I'd be terrified of that responsibility. Translation: I believe you are incompetent and your success is unearned. Only you could wear that and make it work. Translation: I judge your choice as aberrant and am testing group consensus against you. They will then monitor your reaction with predatory focus. If you flinch, they will gaslight with, "It was just a joke, don't be so sensitive." If you laugh, they have successfully inoculated a degrading belief into the social ecosystem and pressure-tested your boundary for accepting disrespect. Your scan procedure: when a joke lands, attend to the first physiological flash in your body, the gut clench, the subtle tension. That is your intuition processing the hostile payload. Do not rationalize it. Mentally strip away the theatrical laughter and performative tone. Examine the naked statement. Would it be acceptable if delivered in a flat, neutral voice? If the answer is no, you have not heard humor. You have intercepted a psychological probe. They have revealed a card. Now, you must play one of your own. You do this not with emotion, but with a clean, surgical test. The most elegant and devastating instrument in the Machiavellian scan is a single, calm syllable: no. Not an emotional refusal, but a neutral, non-negotiable boundary to a small, reasonable request. The boundary test is not about the request's content. It's about installing a sensor on their reaction to your autonomy. The manipulator, the user, the person who views you as a utility operates on a hidden assumption. Your compliance is the default setting. Your willingness is taken for granted. When you introduce the friction of a polite, reasoned no, you create a system error in their psychological software. Observe the reaction with the detached precision of a clinician. The sovereign recognizer accepts the boundary without perturbation, may seek clarification, and the relational dynamic remains stable. This indicates a person who perceives you as an autonomous entity. The covert contemptor displays micro-expressions of frustration, a subtle lip tightness, a fleeting nasal flare, employs guilt-tripping, "I just thought I could count on you," or withdraws warmth passive-aggressively. This reveals their transactional valuation of the relationship. The overt punisher lashes out with character assault, emotional withdrawal, or public shaming. This is critical intelligence. You have identified a psychological predator, and it has revealed its nature for the minimal cost of one declined favor. This test is your social sonar. A single ping reveals the hidden topography of their intent. Do not use this on your family unless you are prepared to witness the raw architecture of your lifelong dynamics. Now, you must graduate from targeted testing to omnidirectional strategic observation. You have been conditioned to watch the speaker. The strategist learns to watch the silent audience around the speaker. This is the eye of the prince, a perceptual shift from narrow focus to panoramic awareness. You cease being a participant in dialogues and become a cartographer of social dynamics. Your new observational algorithm: when an individual speaks, scan the listeners. Note the subtle, almost imperceptible nods of true alliance. Observe the micro-expressions of disagreement that flicker and are suppressed. Track whose gaze drifts, indicating boredom or dissent. The speaker reveals their stated position. The audience reveals the hidden network of power, loyalty, and resistance. Map proximity and unconscious mirroring. Who naturally orbits whom? Who subconsciously replicates the posture, gestures, and speech patterns of the alpha? These are live maps of subconscious hierarchy, more accurate than any organizational chart. Analyze the flow of intangible resources. Who consistently invests attention, validation, or covert assistance in whom? And what invisible currency do they receive in return? This is the dark economy of every human group. This elevated vantage point transforms a confusing social gathering into a readable strategic dashboard. You identify the sycophant maneuvering for favor. You detect the true power center, often the quietest person, observed by all. You spot the isolated member, marked for future scapegoating. By withdrawing your own emotional need to perform, you liberate your cognitive resources to map the entire theater of power. This is how you perceive the game before you're assigned a role, and it provides absolute defense against the most insidious social predator. The most dangerous person in your orbit is not the one who openly despises you. It is the one who seeks to consume and replace you. The mirror effect is the narcissistic reflex to copy the tastes, mannerisms, life stories, and even vulnerabilities of a target they've identified as a source of psychological supply. This is not admiration. It is identity vampirism. You share a specific ambition to write a novel. Within weeks, it becomes their lifelong, previously unmentioned passion. You cultivate a distinct aesthetic. They awkwardly replicate it. You disclose a childhood vulnerability. They later reflect that same narrative back to you as their own origin story. Initially, this feels profoundly validating. That is the anesthetic. You are seeing your own reflection, which triggers a powerful neurochemical bond. But you are not bonding with an autonomous person. You are bonding with your own reflection in a hollow vessel. The scanner identifies this by tracking ontological consistency. Does this person possess a core self with stable preferences and a coherent history that predates their encounter with you? Or is their identity a patchwork of the most compelling personalities in their immediate environment? The mirrorer is a psychological black hole. Having no substantial self, they absorb yours. Their objective is to fuse with your identity to access your resources, your social capital, your emotional energy. Once the source is depleted or a more potent mirror is found, they will shatter the reflection and move on, leaving you feeling psychically ransacked. Recognizing this pattern is the ultimate defense against emotional and identity theft. From this exact moment forward, you do not hear conversations. You decrypt strategic communications. You do not witness smiles. You analyze tactical displays. The world remains unchanged. Your perception has undergone a permanent strategic upgrade. The humiliation of past betrayal is now the calibrated fuel for your relentless clarity. That memory is your permanent calibration tool. Every new individual you encounter is an unknown document. You now possess the scanner to read them. Apply the congruence check, measure the speed of agreement, listen for the shadow leak, deploy the boundary test, observe with the eye of the prince, identify the mirror effect. This is your six-part cognitive armor, your psychological immune system. You are no longer a participant in the masquerade. You are the silent observer in the control room, the strategist who sees the pulleys behind the curtain, the sovereign who recognizes performance because you consciously choose when to perform. Trust is no longer a naive default. It is a hard-earned verdict delivered by your newly armed forensic perception. If you are ready to operate at this altitude of strategic awareness, declare it. Let me see the words "scan activated" in the comments below. This is how we identify those who have chosen to see. This channel is the laboratory where we dissect the machinery of power and perception, where we replace blind trust with guided tactical insight. If you are finished being an unwitting actor on a stage set by others, subscribe. This is where we evolve from social participants to social architects, and do not stop here. The on-screen video is a critical operational extension of this protocol. It details the one non-verbal tell that reveals conscious deception with 99.7% accuracy, the single most important piece of tactical intelligence for any negotiator, leader, or sovereign strategist. This is not optional knowledge. This is essential equipment. You cannot afford to be without it. I'll see you there. See what others miss. Know what others fear. Become who others can't.